Hi guys, and welcome back. In today's video I'm working on a Kenmore washer. It's a 90 series. It's model number 110.249222200. What I want to do with this is touch it up a little bit. It has some rust spots, and the rust is between the top lid and the faceplate. I was trying to get that top lid off and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I went online and I couldn't find a video that would show me how. I played around with it a little off camera, and now I'm going to show you how I was able to get that lid off. In a lot of the videos they show you all you have to do is get a scraper and hit the clips over here and this lid will pop right off. This isn't the case in this one. You can see here where I started rusting. I want to see if that rust was all the way through or just surface. Just surface rust, but I want to get in here. I want to clean this up and paint that also. Now the tools that you'll need for this are a screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver. And for the painting, I'm not getting into a video on the painting, but either a sanding block, sandpaper. And this is an orbital sander that I took apart while the battery was charging. It wasn't working. There was a lot of dust in there. I cleaned it up a little bit, and when I put it back together, I hope that works. Now, I just want to show you what you have to do to get this back off. In the control panel on the top part, you have these end plates. You get the end plate off, you pry from the bottom, and it pops right out. There's one on each side. There's a hidden screw in here. That's a Phillips screw. As I mentioned before, I already took this apart to see how to go about it. Took a little playing to figure it out, and I didn't want to spend all that time on camera. There's one on each side. The other side's taken out already. Once that's out, you move this control panel forward and up. Now when you have the control panel up, it'd be good if you had somebody giving you a hand. You want to unplug this terminal, and what holds it in are clips, one on each end. There's this clip here. Get this clip out. This is where your screwdriver comes in. You have to press down, pull it forward, and make sure you're wearing glasses when you do this. First time it didn't pop out that way. And again, there's one on each side. Besides these two clips, we have this screw back here. It's a Phillips head screw, and there's only one. Now this is what you have. Whole cabinet will come apart. To get this lid off, we have to pull this cabinet out because there's 4 screws holding this lid on that screw from underneath in. I'm going to have to put this camera down to take this off. I'm working by myself and I can't get the right angle on the tripod. I'll be right back. Okay, here's the machine with the cabinet off. Now this is pulled up and out, and these are the 4 screws that have to come out to get this lid off. They definitely don't make this easy. Now also to get this lid off, there's a ground for this lid switch. That ground wire, you're going to have to pull that out. So actually there's 5 screws, and there's 5 screws and they're 5/16. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull these out. I'm going to take this lid off so I can sand all up in these edges, and while I got it over, I'll catch this bottom that's in pretty rough shape also. Clean this up a little bit, make sure it has a good ground over there, clean up that rust. Now I'm going to hit the bottom. I wasn't planning on this. Okay, I now have it apart, and those 4 screws again were in the corners, and there was one for the ground. Clean this up a little bit, make sure it has a good ground over there, clean up that rust. Now I'm going to hit the bottom. I wasn't planning on this. I should have realized the bottom was going to be bad. I'm going to grind this down, put the primer on, 2 coats of primer, get 2 coats of paint on, and I'll be back to show you the install on how to get it back together. Until later, be safe. Hi guys, and welcome back. Today is Tuesday, and it's been 24 hours since I took this wash machine apart so I could sand it down and paint it. I left the machine out all night. I had it covered by that blue top you see in the background. And the cabinet itself, after painting it, I left it in the garage so it could dry. Now, to get this back together, this isn't a video on painting, but originally I said I was going to use a block sander and this orbital sander. That didn't work. I used this wheel. It's like a nylon wheel, which did a good job, but it wore down to nothing. And what ended up saving the day was this grinder with one of these flap wheels. This is what it ended up looking like, and this is how it started. If you're going to do this work, you want to have this and the block sander to get in the tight spots, and you can use the orbital sander if you're going to sand down in between coats. And again, the reason I took this apart was there was all rust under this hood, and there was rust inside the hood. So this is taken care of. To put this back together, I first have to get this lid on top of the cabinet itself. To do that, I have to turn the cabinet over because the screws go in from underneath. Now I'm going to lay this cabinet on these two pieces of 2x4s, and again, this is from pallet. I use pallet wood for everything. Once the lid is connected, then the cabinet gets mounted onto the machine by connecting underneath. There's a lip that goes under this frame, and then on the frame there's a pin here. I don't know if this is going to pick it up with the sunlight, and a pin back here. So that cabinet will hook under here, get connected on the pins, and there's two on the other side. Once it's in place, this holds it in, and we have the screw that goes through the back that holds it on here. And we'll have to mount this top portion to it. I'm going to put the lid, just for the sake of time, I'm going to put the lid, it's only 4 screws that have to get mounted, onto the cabinet. Once I have this ready, I'll show you how I get this cabinet back together. Okay guys, just a quick note. When you're putting this lid back on, you want to put the screws in that are up front first. When those screws are in, this cabinet is very flexible. Gives you the ability to move the cabinet to get the lid on. This turned out to be more fun than I expected. And don't forget to attach the ground wire that goes to the safety on the lid. Now, to get this on. Okay guys, now we're putting this cabinet on. Like I said before, it goes on by catching underneath and on those 4 tabs I mentioned earlier. I have it underneath. How to get these 4 tabs up. And this control panel has to be up. Alright. Now, I can't tell if I have it in those tabs. Okay, if you can see it, that tab, there's the screw for the leveling knob, and then there's a little tab right next to it. One there, and one on the other side. So you're using your foot, to hold the cabinet in, and then you're just trying to maneuver it to where it catches. There we go. Now, the back has to be brought forward. And you want to remember to plug in the connector. And now, These clips are what hold it all together. Slides into the back panel and pushes right in. One on one side and one on the other. Again, it slides into the slot and pushes right in. And there's one screw in the back. Okay. Now you bring the control panel down. You have these plastic tabs. You do them at the same time. You just lift a little bit and then slide them in. You have the two hidden screws. One on each side. And go back to tighten this other one. I didn't snug the first one down, so if it has to move a little from one side to the other, it has a little play. Now these end caps go back on, they just pop right back in. And on the other side. And it's set. And again, to take this lid off, the whole box had to come apart. On some of the models, you just use a putty knife, you slide in here, there's a clip and it pops right off. And I said in the beginning, that wasn't the case with this one. Hope you found this video useful. If so, let me know by posting your comment down below, giving it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Until next time, stay safe.